My next guest was a Biden surrogate in 2020 and is fighting for voting rights on the ground in Pennsylvania. Joining me on the phone is Pennsylvania State Representative and candidate for the United States Senate, Malcolm Kenyatta. Welcome to Amplified, Malcolm.
So excited to be with you and just so proud of you and love the show.
Oh, thank you. I am so proud of you too, because I'm gonna tell all the people that I knew you when a few years back, and in fact, this is right after I think you got elected to the state legislature.
Yep.
Is that when I was at the LGBTQ Victory Institute, we met you and supported you, and just were so
Yep.
proud to champion your race there. You are making headlines as the first. You're the first black gay man in the state legislature there in Pennsylvania. And now you are vying to be the first black gay man in the United States Senate. That's a whole lot of pressure. It's also a whole lot of possibility. And I just want to start off by getting a sense about how does your identity or identities color your politics?
Well, you know what I see all across the Commonwealth, and we have been going everywhere, putting miles and miles and miles on the road, going to, rural communities all across Philadelphia, our collar counties, and Pittsburgh and Scranton, going everywhere. And what you hear is that people know that we need to fundamentally change the Senate. We need to fundamentally change the Senate. We are in a 50-50 majority right now in the Senate, and we know that there are folks in our own party. Unfortunately, you were talking about Kristen Sinema in your last block, folks who don't think that big corporations should pay their fair share and that we should use them stepping up and investing in our country the way everybody else has to actually do the things that people want to see done, like childcare, like making sure everybody has health care, like investing in broadband for so many communities where we haven't built out the infrastructure or people can't afford it. Everywhere I go, people want to have a government that actually works for working people and working families. And the way that you get that is you have to have more working people in government. If we want a government, if we want a Senate that reflects and is working toward expanding the promise of this country, if we want a Senate that is pushing for all of the things that you've heard me talking about at the state legislature and prior to me being elected for office, then we have to have a Senate that reflects the fullness of the American experience. And I understand that it is a big deal that when I'm elected, I'll be the first African American to ever represent Pennsylvania as a United States senator, the first openly gay man ever elected. But I think more than anything else, and what's resonating with people everywhere we go, is that you're going to have a working person in the Senate, somebody who understands in their bones what's broken, because I've lived it.
Oh, I love that. And you're right. I mean, if you look at Congress, there are very few members of Congress these days that actually come from being working people. One, because it's so expensive to be able to run. There's a privilege that is associated with even just the flexibility to do it. But I want to go back to something, as we're talking about identity. I have to say, having met you, in your late 20s, that as a black gay man, I was surprised that you came out early as a Joe Biden surrogate. And I wonder what drew you to that campaign, and how did you see yourself and your community of working people reflected more in the politics and policies of Biden than, say, Harris or Booker or even, Pete Buttigieg?
Well, we have you see a similar dynamic playing out in this race where you have a bunch of people who've thrown their hats into this race. And when you look at the support that we have picked up in this campaign, you have the Teamsters, Local 623, you have the Working Families Party, Democracy for America. You have so many elected officials from all across the Commonwealth, and frankly, from the from all the different parts of our party represented in the coalition of folks who are supporting my campaign. And a part of what I thought about looking at that field that we have, that was, was it 28 people, I think, at its peak, folks running for president. I knew that if we were going to defeat the former president, that first and foremost, we were going to have a nominee who was able to bring the party together. And you look at all the folks who competed fiercely with Joe Biden, every single one of them said, this is somebody who deeply listens to people who that might not have been his first idea, but he's been willing to deeply listen and hear people out, and not just hear them out, but to actually implement the ideas that are brought to him. And take, for example, a story that well. When I had an 11-year-old die by suicide in my district, Little Phil. And the bill that I introduced called Phillips Law.
Mm.
After his tragic death, he was being bullied in school, and he was trying to get in touch with a mental health professional in school. There was only one for a school of 450 kids. The next time little Phil's family saw him, he had died from asphyxiation hanging from his bunk bed. And what I said
Mm.
to
Mm.
his family was, we can't forget little Phil, and we need to reimagine the way that we provide mental health care in our schools. I told that story to then Vice President
Mm.
Biden in New
Mm-hmm.
Hampshire when I was campaigning for him. He added that proposal to his platform, something that he was running on. And so when we think about what it's going to take in a state like Pennsylvania in a midterm environment, we know the groups that historically check out in these midterm elections: young people,
Mm.
people of color, low
Mm-hmm.
propensity suburban
Mm-hmm.
voters. And if we are going to win, our party has to be strong, our base has to be activated. And just like I believe President Biden was going to be the Democrat best able to bring the party together and was going to be a leader who listened as well as lead, I think that I am hands down the best nominee to do
Mm.
that as well, to bring together the party after
Let's
what
talk
will be a
about the
competitive
field.
primary.
Yeah, I want to talk about the field
Yeah.
and that competitive primary, because you're up against a popular, left-leaning Lieutenant Governor, John Fetterman. There's the moderate Connor Lamb, representative, who, by the way, also has a relationship with Biden. I think Biden at some point said that Connor Lamb reminded him of his son, Beau. And then, of course, Dr. Val Arkush, who's making the play for suburban women. And I'm curious, in that crowded field, what's your play?
So a part of what people need to understand is they need to understand Pennsylvania. 52% of our population is in Philadelphia and our four collar counties. And when you think about the coalition that the president put together when he won Pennsylvania, a coalition that I know a lot about, as you said, I endorsed him on the day he announced, went to rural Iowa, went to South Carolina, went all across the country supporting the campaign, was the most active surrogate for him from Pennsylvania. With the first digital event that he did, I did it with him when the campaign had to move more digital. And so I have a firsthand look at what it takes and what the coalition looks like that wins Pennsylvania. And that coalition, first and foremost, starts in Philadelphia and our collar counties. And also, you have to win in Center County and in Dauphin County and in Lackawanna County and in Luzerne County and in Allegheny County and in Erie. And what you see in every single one of those places are parts of our coalition that I am best able to speak across the broad coalition that we have, a coalition of people who at their
Mm.
core understand what I understand about how government doesn't work. The president talked all the time about this idea of that the last election was between Scranton and Fifth Avenue. And I think that that still remains true. We still are asking the question in this
Mm.
primary: are we going to have a government that actually works for working people? I'm the only person in this race who is an actual working person. All the candidates can talk about, hey, I believe that we
Mm.
should have more affordable housing. But none of the other candidates know what I know about having to take everything I own, put it in a couple of plastic trash bags to now move to the next place. I had to move 5 or 6 times because my mom couldn't always afford the rent. Every candidate, they have different ideas on how
Mm-hmm.
we do it, is going to say we need to cover more people with healthcare, make sure it's more affordable and accessible, lower the price of prescription drugs. And that's, everybody can say that. And I know that they believe it. But I buried both of my parents by the time I was 27 because they didn't have ready access to
Yep.
a good
Yep.
doctor and to prescription drugs. And so my
Well,
ability to go to every single community, whether they look like me or love like me, and talk about the issues they actually care about is something none of the other candidates can do in the way that I'm going to do it. And it's why we've built a broad, big coalition.
Pennsylvania State Representative Malcolm Kenyatta, I am so excited to watch your race progress through this primary. We're going to have you back to talk more about the real issues that working people in Pennsylvania are experiencing right now. So thank you for joining Amplified. Appreciate you.